How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about what's better, Awaken Ninja or Succession Ninja. I'm going to compare the two classes in a bunch of different scenarios. I'm making this video because this PM is something I get a lot. What should I play? What's better? This, that, and the other. So I'm going to try my best to knock it out here. This is my personal opinion from my personal experiences and my knowledge. If you want to add to it, if you disagree with it, if there's something wrong, pop it down in the comment section down below. You know, there's different play styles, there's different platforms, there's different servers. So mileage may vary depending on who you are, where you are, and how you play. But I will do my best to answer the question as efficiently as I can. Now, in terms of PvE, I'm going to knock this one out real quick. Succession is just better. Look, I know you can get similar outputs with Awakened and Succession, but you can be a lot more lazy and get good output on Succession, whereas Awakening, you really have to concentrate a bit more. You got to be a lot more efficient with your pools. You got to put a lot more effort in to get the same trash as you would from the Succession variant. Succession's more chilled. You got nice, big, large AoEs, so you don't have to be super precise with your pulling. And you got good damage. And I just think you can just go for longer without fatiguing yourself and hurting your fingers on Succession. So that's that one out the way. Now for the PvP matchups, I'm going to go through 1v1s, 1vx, and then like small scale / RBF and large scale separately. This video is mostly me talking. I'm not going to be showing clips and stuff like that. So if that's not what you're here for, you don't like the sound of my voice, you don't like my opinions, I'd suggest not listening to it because I might trigger you. But let's start with the 1v1 matchup against Berserker. So against both Succession and Awakened Berserker, you have the advantage on either spec and on either ninja spec, and I would say it's equal advantage on both. There's some scenarios, let's say like Awakened Ninja is a lot better at not getting hit by the Berserker slow. Succession Ninja is a lot better at just out positioning the Berserker because you have burst movement, you've got the double malice ranged, which is really good at CCing Berserkers when they're far away from you, when they're trying to buff themselves. Equal advantage to both here. So I don't think any one of them has an advantage over the other, but either spec is you should win this matchup more times than you lose. Now Ranger. Ranger, similar to Berserker, doesn't matter what spec they use or you use, you have the advantage here. It's relatively equal advantage. I will give a slight bonus to Succession in here, just because of your ranged shurikens here. You can CC their ranged with your ranged if you know which ones to look for. As well as the burst movement, it's a lot easier just to close the gap whilst they're stuck in the animation and CC them in the smoke screen, or whatever it is you decide to CC them with. And on top of that, you don't need to CC them on Succession, to be honest. You can just kill them standing, because Succession has better trading damage than Awakening. But still, it's such a high advantage to you in this matchup, I don't think it really matters what you use. Sorceress, I can't comment too much about Succ because I haven't fought Sucks. Maybe a couple of Sucks a few months ago I've bumped into, but I usually just deal with Awakened Sorc. Overall, this is a skill-based matchup. Whichever player knows their class and how to deal with the opponent better is going to have more success here. I don't think either class has an advantage in this matchup. But in terms for you, what spec you should use, I would give a slight edge to Succession here. The reason is Sorcs do burn through a lot of stamina, and you can pressure a lot more safely with Succession compared to Awakening, because Sorcs are good at punishing forward guards. So you're safer at applying that pressure with Succession Ninja, burning down their stamina to force them to try and linger a couple forward guards to get stam regen, and that's when you block jump them. You're usually saving your block jump for that. If for some reason the Sorc isn't using Super Armor Grim Reaper, another advice I'd give, no matter what variant you use, if they use Grim Reaper, just block jump their Grim Reaper and it's an easy stiff. If they're using SA, it's obviously not going to work. But like I said, small advantage to Succession here. Another reason is, again, your double malice. The range on it is pretty nice. It's actually really good at punishing Dream of Doom if you use it right. If you use the forward guard correctly and you time your shurikens, it's pretty good at punishing that. Again, the burst movement allows you to punish Dream of Doom a lot easier. When you see them doing the animation, you can just get to them so quickly and just beheading them. If you're not, obviously, don't beheading them if the Dream of Doom is going to hit you. If you position yourself right, then you can just beheading their Dream of Doom. So I think there's more advantages here. I think did I mention it? AOE on smokescreen makes it easier as well. You don't have much of an AOE for the awakened smokescreen variant. So I would give the advantage here to Succession. But again, it is a very skill-based matchup. So if you know the matchup really well on Awakened, you can have just as much success. Like I said, it's just a little bit easier for me to deal with it on Succession. Tamer, I don't have much knowledge on Tamers. I don't fight that many Tamers. I've never fought a Succ Tamer. Um, just thinking about it, I'd say it's pretty even because Tamers are very squishy. So applying damage with Succ can be easier. But again, the tamer grab is very strong. So he probably can grab you easier in Succession than he can in Awakening. So it depends on the tamer. Um, after you CC the tamer, I'd probably say Succession has an easier time of comboing and dealing with a dog than Awakening. But again, if you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to deal with the dog and the tamer as a Awakened Ninja. Especially if you use something like FG Serpents, you can just position yourself right to float, one-shot the tamer and not get CC'd by the dog. However, at the same time, the Super Armor Murderess is probably pretty good in this matchup as well. But I'm not too knowledgeable. So I don't know which one I'd give the advantage to. Same with Valkyrie, I'm not too knowledgeable. Awakened Valkyrie, I've never had issues with. I think any variant is pretty good at dealing with it. Succession Valkyrie, on the other hand, the resists are a little bit annoying. Um, there are ways around it to both Succession and Awakening have good double floats that you can do to try and get past the resists. But I do really like the double float and Awakening because the double float and Awakening, well, the double CC in Awakening is Serpents into Execution, which is a lot of damage. So I kind of do like that. But at the same time, I don't know which one I give the advantage to here. You do have a bit more burst movement on Succession, so it's easier to position yourself to get the grab on Succession. But because of resists, it's probably nice having two grab options available to you on Awakening. But I don't have enough knowledge to say which one's better in this matchup. Warrior, I think either matchup is good against Warrior. More times than not, you have the advantage here. Obviously, if it's a very good Warrior, it is skill based. If it's a very good Warrior that knows your class and their class, it is skill based, but it's not like PC here on console. Warriors can't perform the way they do on PC. So most scenarios, I would give the advantage to the ninja here. Um, I'd say it's relatively equal, but I think Succession might just bump out the Awaken variant a little bit. It's nice having two grabs available to you from Awakening, but because of the way you can do Fatal Blow movement grab, like move towards them, stick to them with Fatal Blow and grab them, and the transition stance grab, it makes it allows you to create the grab opportunities easier. And on top of that, if the warrior is the kind of person that really likes to, they come and they do some skills and they try to use their long range movement to disengage and create a gap between you, it's easier to deal with on Succession because A, you have a lot of burst mobility to keep up with his burst. B, it's unprotected on the warrior. So again, your burst mobility keeping up allows you to put easy CCs on him. C, you have the double malice that have a lot more. You got one extra malice, and both these malices have a lot more range than the one malice available to Awakening, which is very easy to use to CC the warrior. So it does have the advantage in that kind of scenario, but it is nice having a double grab. Warriors aren't amazing at punishing forward guards, but they are okay at it. So I would say a slight advantage to Succession in this matchup. Witch Wizard, Awakened, I would give the advantage to what's it called? I would give the advantage to Awakened Ninja against Awakened Wizard and Awakened Witch. But either way, whether you're playing Succ or Awakened Ninja, it's pretty easy to deal with these classes because they don't have the protected ranged damage, CC damage. They don't have the crazy mobility like Succession does. So it's really just knowing when to just go in and grab them is nice. But having two grabs available to you and some forward guards to be able to stand closer to them to mitigate damage and apply a bit more pressure is easier to do on Awakened Ninja. But against the Succession counterparts of these two classes, 100% Awakened Ninja hands down is better. It's so much better, especially when the Succ Wizard has a lot of AP. You are on a time limit on Succession Ninja to kill the Succ Wizard. If not, you're dead. He just does way too many slow debuffs and damage from range, and up close damage with his mobility and mana shield, and you only having one grab and not having easy access to forward guards makes this matchup pretty hard for a Succ ninja. Obviously, if you can tank a little bit of damage, you've got. So this is how I see it. If you can tank a decent amount of the skills from Succ Wizard, ninja has the advantage. If the wizard has like the high APs, it's such a hard advantage to wizard against succession. Whereas awaken, no matter what the variant is, you still have the advantage because you can mitigate a lot of it with your forward guards, especially if you're good at your forward guard management and regenerating your forward guard between skills. And on top of that, having two grabs available to you does make it a lot easier to deal with the Succ variant on Awaken Ninja. And if you put like an FG on your Serpents, you can trade off. So if they're trying to do a Voltaic Frigid, and you can't really get away from them because you haven't reacted fast enough, you can just Serpents them. And then what that would do is you'd mitigate a lot of the damage from them with your forward guard on Serpents if you're using the Bond skill. And on top of that, you're dealing a lot of damage, applying pressure to the Witch Wizard. So that's why I'd give the advantage to the Awakened Ninja. Musar, Meiwa, very similar classes no matter what specs they use. 100%, without a shadow of doubt, Succ Ninja is so much better in this fight. Awakened Ninja is just, this class is very good at punishing forward guards. And you're always rotating forward guards on Awakening. So they definitely have the advantage here. Succession, if this is a really good Musar that knows their Dragon Bite and that knows when to use their when to use their Stab Arrow, it is more difficult for you to deal with them on your Succ Ninja or even Ninja, to be either variant of the Ninja, to be honest. Because what they'll do, what they're basically looking for, the good Musar Meiwa will see you. They're looking at you from range, right? And they're waiting to see you ghost step. As soon as they see you ghost step, they'll throw the Stab Arrow at you. The reason they do this is sometimes they'll just CC you out of the ghost step because the game sucks. But other times is 3 of your movement skills are unprotected at the beginning. Your 3 SA movements, which is Ankle Cutter, Crescent Slash, and Shuriken Flight. So them throwing the Stab Arrow at you after you ghost step or during your ghost step gives them a good chance that if you choose to use one of those 3 skills, that they get the CC. So an experienced Musar Meiwa that plays very passive has got the advantage. But if they're not being an asshole, well, I say asshole, that's how they should play their class. But if they want to have a bit more fun and try and get in there and pressure you to make the mistake, it allows you to re-pressure them to make mistakes. So that's good. And also, again, burst movement on the ninja allows you just to keep up with the Musar Meiwa. So you can, if you're very good, if you're very knowledgeable in this matchup, you can apply the pressure with your succession class. And if you apply the pressure, you will drain their stamina faster than your stamina will drain if you do it properly. So you can even the playing field on succession, whereas Awakened Ninja, I think you're always on the back foot. Now, Ninja Kuno, both variants of Ninja Kuno, Succession Ninja is just better at, because again, Ninja Kunos, like Musar Meiwas, are very effective at punishing forward guards. Very effective indeed. So just Succession is hands down better. Obviously, if you're super knowledgeable in the matchup, it doesn't matter. If you know exactly when to do your Murderous, if you're on Awakened, use SA Murderous here, 100%. But yeah, I'll just say Succession is better. So for the Dark Knight matchup, either or, you've got the advantage in my opinion here. Dark Knights, they're not amazing at the punishing forward guards, but they have a couple of things that they can do. So, it's easier to stay protected against them with Succession. However, if they have the gear to kill you when your SA is standing, you will have a bit more success on Awakening because you can mitigate that damage with your forward guards. But I think either or here, you have the advantage either way. And I think both your Succession and Awakening is good at dealing with this class. Now, Mystic Striker, I'm just going to say Succession is better in this matchup just because of the accuracy modifiers and your combo damage. This allows you to, having these accuracy modifiers and your combo damage allows you just to do a bit better in comboing your opponent. But if you're very good on Awakened Ninja, I think it's pretty even in terms of catching the Striker or the Mystic. Both is decent, both specs is decent. One of the advantages you got in Succ again is these two classes have no ranged kit. They can't do anything from range to you. So having the availability of two shurikens that have a lot of range does help. And the way, again, the fatal blow grab, the transition stance grab, makes it easier to create grab opportunities in succession. However, it's not that hard to grab them on Awakened either, but you can't do it as quickly. Like in Succession, when you create a grab opportunity, you can create it very quickly, which makes it hard for the striker to grab you back. Whereas in Awakening, it's a little bit slower because you usually have to like linger a forward guard to go for the grab, which allows the striker to grab you as well. So it's a bit more 50-50. So that's another reason I kind of give the advantage here to Succession. And I don't really block jump grab you can do on either class, so that's the same. But yeah, I'd say slight advantage to Succession here. Lan, I don't have that much experience against Lans. There's only a handful of Lans that I've fought. Overall, I think it's a skill-based matchup. I don't think any class has the advantage here. It's whichever class knows the matchup better and how to play their own class better is the one that's going to come out victorious more often in the matchup. I think both Succession and Awakened are okay. They're not. I don't think there's big advantages from one on the other unless the Lan is really good at. We all know that Awakened Lan is really good with their grab. I don't know anything about Succession Lan, by the way. I don't know. Succession Lan, I have no clue, so hands up, I don't know what's better. But against Awaken, I've never even seen a Succession Lan on EU console. But Awaken Lance specifically, their grab is really strong. So in Succession, if they know the matchup really well, and they're waiting for you to do SA movement, so either Crescent Slash movement, Shuriken Flight movement, or ankle cutter movement. If they're good at grabbing you from that skill, it makes it, you have to be really passive with the way you use it. It really takes a lot of your kit, a lot of your movement away in terms of using that movement to apply pressure. You have to use that movement very passively and at distance, which can make the matchup a bit more difficult. There are workarounds, there are ways to work around this, but at the same time, in that scenario, if you don't know, if you can't deal with the long grab on Succession, he keeps grabbing out of your SA movements, then I would say you'd have a bit more success using Awakened in this matchup. Archer, again, I think both specs you have the advantage here, but I would definitely say Succession is easy to deal with because, again, you've got really good range and your double malices, they both stiff. They both have good damage, so you can counter their range with your ranged if you know where to throw, when and how to throw your malices. Like, you do your, I'd say like a good way, right, is reposition with a smokescreen transition. So he's shooting at the location where you smokescreen, he's shooting, and you can move really quickly to another location where he's not shooting you and throw two malices at him. So that way he can't CC you, you've got the opportunity to CC him. If you know when to time it, you can get the easy CC. If not, you're just getting good damage or you're doing some good damage to his forward guard. On top of that, again, trading him is a lot easier on Succession because of your damage. The trading damage potential is better. You can kill him standing up without having to CC him. And on top of that, you have a lot more burst movement, so it's a lot easier to stick to the Archer on Succession compared to the Awakened. So I would definitely give the advantage to Succession over Awakened Ninja, but either or, you should win this matchup more often than not. Shy, doesn't matter what you use, it's a Shy. Guardian, either spec that you use, you've got the advantage in this fight. There's no one spec that's clearly better than the other. A few things I would mention is obviously Guardians love applying slows, so it's a little bit easier to mitigate and not get hit by the slows because of the forward guard movement that Awakening provides. And you've got a double grab. Guardians are really good at I know they're slow, and you do have the advantage, but they actually got decent iframes. So if it's a good Guardian, he's good at knowing when you're going to grab him and baiting your grab. So having two grabs available to you does help, but at the same time, the Succession Ninja's positioning and burst movement and the way you can grab with the Fatal Blow movement, with the Transition Stance movement, it's really nice. So you can create the grab opportunities a lot quicker and a lot more unpredictably with a Succession over Awakened. However, you got an extra chance to grab them on the Awakened if one fails. So either or, I think there's equal. You have equal. What's it called? equal opportunities on both classes to win this matchup. Both classes have the advantage in this matchup, but it just depends on. There's some advantages to Awakening, some advantages to Succession. I think overall they cancel each other out, so it's an even matchup, whichever spec you use. Hishashin, this one's really easy. 100% Succession is so much better. So much better at dealing with Hishashin. Especially because the block jump on Hishashin, the range on it is absolutely out of this world. So, like, the good Hishashins, they know when to block jump you. It's just a lot harder to deal with on Awakened. It forces you to have to use skills like Blade Spin and Katana Shower more when you think you're going to get block jump to protect your back, which then also allows the Hishashin, like, they've burnt a good SA skill from you, and then it allows them to do positioning whilst you're standing still, which is super strong because then the Awakened Hishashin is like, oh, wow, he's using Blade Spin. If I'm Awakened Hishashin, I'm going to dash grab that motherfucker. So it's a lot harder to deal with on Awakened, but the Succession, I think, is a skill-based matchup. Either player can win the matchup. Whichever player against, same as Awakened Sorc, if you know your class and how to fight the ninja, or vice versa, then that person that has the more knowledge in the fight is going to just end up with more wins. But both classes are very good at dealing with each other. I think it's a very equal matchup. Nova, I can't tell you. Classes have been out long enough and say which one's better. I haven't fought enough of them. I find it super easy to deal with all the Novas I've bumped into, but the Novas don't know how to play their classes to their maximum ability yet. So I don't know, but I think you've got the advantage either way. So that's all of the 1v1s out of the way. Now I'm just going to quickly talk about 1vx. 1vx, if you're a Succession ninja, it's easier to deal with 1vx's generally. Because of the way you can deal your protected damage, your burst movement that allows you to really confuse your opponents with your positioning. And the beheading, the Succession beheading is so strong in comparison to the Awakened beheading. So those are those, and you got the double malice is really good as well, because usually there's one in a 1vx, right? There's usually a couple people applying pressure to you, and there's one person that may not be applying, and they're at range and they feel safe, right? They disengage and they feel safe, and then you throw those shurikens at that guy, and then you can close the gap with transition stance, and then do like a shadow stomp to the refloat. So it does have some things going for it, but because of the protected damage and the accuracy modifiers that you have in your burst movement, I'd say most 1vx's Succession has the overall advantage and is better. The advantages Awakened Ninja has is being able to grab. You can't really grab. You have to have really good positioning, or the opponents you're fighting have to be pretty shit for you to be able to get a successful grab without getting punished in Succession. Whereas with Awakening, you have the Awaken grab, and when you go into it, you're in an iframe, and a lot of people just don't know how to deal with that. And you got some really good options. So after the iframe, the Awaken grab, you can block jump someone and position your camera to be able to refloat the person that you grabbed, and maybe get a double float on the person that you block jumped. You can also use Ninja Step to do the same kind of thing, get behind someone, positioning camera to maybe try and get a double float. You always use forward guard serpents in this scenario. It's just too strong. Katana Shower is decent in the 1vx, the float, but it doesn't give you as much combo potential as serpents. Like, yes, it's easier to catch with katana, and if you got crazy good gear like me, and you can just throw a blade spin and maybe like a shadow stomp, and it kills the guys, then yeah, sure, like katana's good. But in terms of just dealing more damage and comboing more efficiently, in the 1vx, FG Serpents is the bond skill that you want. Now, where I would disagree with what I just said. So Awakened Ninja is obviously good at 1vx as well, right? Those are the advantages Awakened Ninja has. I just think Succession is better. However, as soon as there's one or more Succ Wizards in the fight, Awakened just becomes so much better than Succession in that 1vx. The Succ Wizard, when there's a 1vx, is so hard for you to CC them on Succession. You can't grab them because the opponents are going to be protecting their Succ Wizard, and they're going to CC you out of the grab. The Succ Wizard's super freaking protected, so it's hard to get the CC on him. You can't trade him, well, you can't trade at all because there's too many people there. And he can apply damage from you from range and CC you, and he's protected. He can AoE damage you up close, and it CCs you, and he's protected, and everything he does fucking slows you, and you don't have the forward guards to be able to just deal with all the slows that he's throwing you. Yeah, sure, you can deal with one slow, two slows, maybe three slows, but then you're going to get hit by the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh slow that he throws at you. And the meteor is so strong. It's if you don't have block jump available and you don't have if you don't have block jump and you don't have dark frenzy available when the wizard meteors you, you're fucked because you kind of have to SA. It's if you're fast enough to do a transition stance, yes, but the forward guard doesn't linger long enough for the whole animation. And on console, there's a lot of times like I'll do the when I've done the transition stance to forward guard the meteor, I have to go step because my forward guard's ending before his meteor animation ends. And when I go step, I get hit by the knockdown because there's too much desync on console. So the ways I deal with a wizard meteoring me is Dark Frenzy, block jump, ninja step, or I have to SA. So if the wizard meteors you and those three skills that I just mentioned are unavailable, that means you have to do like a red rain or a blade spin to super armor the meteor to not get CC'd, and that's just gonna fucking kill you, bro. It's gonna do so much damage. So Awaken Ninja is a lot better because remember I was talking about the Awaken grab, the iframe. You can grab the Witch Wizard, the Succ Witch Wizard specifically. I'm talking about here. So you can grab them a lot easier on Awakened, which allows you to make that 1vx a lot easier for you. Now, Guardians, kind of the same. Not as oppressive as Succ Witch Wizard, but because they do have high AoE damage with the slows attached to it, the slows are really annoying and make the 1vx harder. Easier to mitigate the slows with your forward guards on the ninja, and again, you can grab them on the Awakened Ninja. You don't have that option really to you for the Succ Ninja. So that's 1vx out of the way. Outside of if there's no Succ Witch Wizards or Guardians in there, I think all other scenarios you have so much more success with Succession. But as soon as those two classes are there, you're going to have more success with Awakening. So that's going to kind of answer the question for you. It's the same kind of answer for RBF and small scale. It just depends on Succ Witch Wizards. Usually right now in EU, there's so many Succ Witch Wizards in RBF that you're probably going to have a bit more success in Awakening if you want to go fight the bull. But at the same time, like what I do when I'm on Succession Wizard, I just try to ignore these. I try to kill the people that are not next to the Succ Witch Wizards. You can have just as much success if you ignore them. But at least on Awakening, you don't have to ignore them. You can actually deal with them. So that's why I think the Awakening has a bit of an advantage in the small scale / RBF scenarios. Now, the last one here, let's talk about large scale. I've got a very shitty diagram in PowerPoint. So imagine this is your bull, this is the enemy bull, and this is skirmisher classes. So against low-level guilds, doesn't matter what variant you use. It's a low-level guild, you're going to kill them. Against high-level guilds that are organized with good players that understand how large scale works, usually what happens is you got the bull, and then you got strong skirmisher classes that don't stand with the fucking bull. They try to protect their bull, right? They're protecting their bull from flankers that are trying to flank, and one of those flankers is you. So the strong skirmisher classes that usually do this, Berserkers, Warriors, Strikers, as you notice, these classes all have grabs. Muso's pretty decent at this as well because of his trade damage, his Succ in Awakening, and his Stub Arrow as well for the range CC. They're pretty good at defending their backline, but I've probably missed a few classes here. But so the skirmisher class is defending their bull. Okay, so basically what this means is it doesn't matter what variant you use, your goal is get to the back. You can either try and kill the skirmishers, which I wouldn't recommend doing, like unless it's a very VIP skirmisher. Like if it's someone that's really cracked and taking him off the battlefield is gonna help your guild, then sure, if you can get a kill on him, get a kill on him, right? But more often than not, you're gonna be more effective when your bulls are about to engage or they have engaged to try and get the backline. So the ranged classes are very easy for as a ninja killing rangers and archers because they're squishy. That's what you're really looking to do. I guess Tamers is another one that I missed back here that can act as a backline defense. Skirmisher backline defense. But anyway, so like you're really trying to kill those targets because they are squishy, so it's easier for you to use your your Node War combo to kill him. And in terms of Node War combo, you got more damage potential with the Succession Node War combo compared to Awakening. Basically, your Node War combo is just protected damage. That's Node War. Blade Spin, Katana Shower, Illusion Restraint, which is like Red Rain. On Red Rain is the variant for Succ Ninja, Blade Spin, Illusion. Those are the three skills you're using. Usually your invis as well. So you normally what you do is you start with both sides. There's a few ways you can start. More often than not, you can see a lot more people with beheading. So both variants, you normally do beheading, and then you do shadow stomp. If you think you can do it. Sometimes you don't do shadow stomp, you just do beheading, and then you do your node war combo. And the advantage Succession has over Awakening is you don't have to stance switch to do your node war combo in Succession, whereas you've got a stance switch to do it in Awakening. So you've got more damage potential, protected damage potential with Succession. And the other big thing is disengaging. You got a lot more burst movement with Succession than Awakening. So don't worry about scaling. I'll just give you a rough idea. Let's say I'm a Succession Ninja. Let's say my burst movement can take me to here. On Awaken Ninja, so let's say this one's Awaken Ninja. The Awaken Ninja's burst movement is going to take you to like here, right? So Succession can get in and out a lot faster than Awakening. So maybe if you got the FG Serpents and you got really cracked positioning as an Awakened Ninja, you can get more kills in this bull, but it's unlikely you're going to get out. Whereas with the Succession Ninja, you've got the higher protected damage, so you're more likely not to die here. And then in both cases, to go through the disengage movement for Succession, you block jump when you finish your combo. You try to find someone that's far away from the bull. Put your targets on him and do the WW cancel, which is forward B/forward circle on PlayStation, to go step and stay protected and get some good distance from him on your Succession. Then you ninja step, smoke screen, transition stance, throw your shurikens and transition stance, fatal blow movement, and then you start doing your SA movement from here. But that's your burst movement out of the way. So Awaken Ninja, again, block jump, aim at the guy that's furthest away, and WW cancel behind him. Then you're going to do ninja step. Then that's your burst movement, bro. Maybe you could do like a unprotected, but if you haven't used if your Shadow Stomp's off cooldown, you could do Ghost Screeching Shadow Stomp to try and burst. But again, that's unprotected, completely unprotected, with not even an FG on it. And you can do that on Succession as well. You can do what's it called? Ghost Greeting Stomp on Succession as well. And then you have to stance switch, which is slow, and then do Murderous, Ghost Step, and then you stance switch, and then like you don't really have much on cooldown. So you can't get as far away as quickly with Succession with Awaken compared to Succession. That's why I just think Succession is better, along with the other stuff that I've talked about. But one thing the Awakened Ninja's good at is skirmish fights. Again, because of that grab, because of the FG Serpents, your combo potential in the small skirmish fights. Let's say you're like over here, right, and you got a few people, the enemy bulls like over here. And let's say there's 4 people here, right? And one of these 4 people is a one of these 4 people is a Succ wizard. Well, now if you're awakened in this scenario, usually what happens, these guys are close to you. Succ wizard's doing damage from range, is probably close to his bull. So now the awakened ninja, you can like ninja step, block, jump, grab to deal with him, and then these guys are going to try and close the gap and kill you. And then you can do like a reposition to get behind, and then serpents these 2 guys to try and kill them. So in the skirmish fights, when the Succ Witch Wizards are there, you're going to be a bit more effective with Awakened Ninja. But overall, if you want to just try and maximize your impact on the Node War, I think it's easier to do that on Succession. Anyway, guys, I've been talking for fucking ages here. That's my knowledge, that's my experience, that's my know-how. Hopefully this answers the question, what's better? Honest opinion, whatever you prefer, bro, whatever you prefer playing. But if you want to know advantages and disadvantages, that's the best I can answer it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.